So let's break down one of the most terrifying moments in all of science fiction, the first shot fired in H.G. Wells' The War of the Worlds. We're going to go step by step through how a quiet, curious evening on Horsell Common spiraled into absolute horror. Let's get into it.
And this is the big question, right? It hangs in the air over the entire scene. An alien cylinder has crashed, and all of humanity is just watching, waiting. Is this the moment we meet our equals in the universe? A moment of hope? Or is it something much, much darker? I mean, the stakes don't get any higher than this.
And right at the center of all this, you've got this classic human conflict, something our narrator feels deep in his bones. On one side, you have that primal fear, the part of your brain that's just screaming, get out of here, run. But then there's this other part, this powerful, almost reckless curiosity that just has to see what happens next. And the narrator puts it perfectly with this line. He's a battleground. He's totally frozen, can't bring himself to get any closer, but there's no way he's leaving either. He's pinned there, a spectator to the impossible. So imagine you're standing there in that crowd. What are you seeing? Well, from inside this crater, these thin, black, whip-like things, like tentacles, keep darting out and then pulling back in. A strange metal rod with a spinning mirror on top slowly rises up and then sinks back down. And all the while, the sun is setting, the light is fading, and that twilight just makes everything feel 10 times more tense and eerie. So in the middle of all this fear and confusion, a few people decide, okay, we have to do something. They believe that if they just act reasonably, if they make a gesture of peace, they can connect with whatever's inside that cylinder. You've got this small group, a deputation with some pretty smart people in it, Ogilvy the astronomer, Stent the journalists. They figure, look, whatever these things are, they build a spaceship. They have to be intelligent. So they decide to make a formal approach, carrying a white flag as a symbol of peace. And what they're doing is so human. They wave this white flag, this universal symbol for we come in peace. It's this one tiny flicker of hope that, maybe reason and decency can actually win the day here. Yeah, but the Martians, their response is something nobody could have seen coming. It's not a greeting. It's not even an immediate attack. It's something else, something weird and deeply unsettling. And then, just like that, the quiet is completely shattered. A blinding flash of light erupts from the pit. And we're not talking about normal smoke here. This is a bright, glowing green vapor that shoots up in 3 distinct puffs. It's so bright, it actually makes the dim twilight sky look totally black in comparison. It's clearly a signal of some kind. Then comes the sound. It starts as this faint hiss, but it keeps growing, getting louder and louder, turning into this deep, droning hum. It's the sound of a massive machine powering up, and the dread just gets thicker and thicker. And this is just a chilling final picture. For just a second, as that green smoke drips up, the faces of those men with the white flag are lit up in this sickly green glow. They look like ghosts. And then, just as quickly, they fade back into the darkness. And that's it. That's the moment everything flips. All that hope for a peaceful first contact, it's about to be incinerated. Curiosity is about to become catastrophe. Now, to really get what happens next, you have to understand the weapon they use, the heat ray. It's not a laser beam you can see. It's this invisible jet of pure heat that makes anything it touches just burst into flames. For people in a world of gunpowder and cannons, this is like black magic. There's no projectile, no bang, just sudden, silent fire. The whole thing happens with this terrifying efficiency. First, a dark, hunched shape rises out of the pit. There's a faint flicker of light. That's the only warning you get. And in an instant, the men from the deputation are just gone, turned to white flame. And then that invisible beam just starts sweeping across the common, methodically, unstoppably. I mean, the speed is just unbelievable. Look at this timeline. At 1 second, the deputation is just fire. 2 seconds later, entire pine trees are exploding like torches. By the 5th second, the narrator feels the heat as the very ground at his feet, the heather, starts to smolder. The destruction is moving almost too fast for the human mind to even process. And you're put right there, in the narrator's shoes.
He's just paralyzed, not just by fear, but by total, absolute shock. He can't believe what he's seeing. And as this invisible wall of death sweeps towards him, all he can do is stand there and wonder what's going to happen.
You know, the crazy thing is, the attack itself is over in seconds. But in those few seconds, the entire world has been broken and put back together as something new, and something terrifying. And just as quickly as it started, it stops. The humming sound dies down, the machine sinks back into its crater, and what's left behind is just silence. A burning, smoldering landscape, dark smoke, and the charred, black shapes of what used to be people. So our narrator, he survives. The beam passes over him. But he's not really saved, is he? The world he knew 5 minutes ago is gone forever. The normal, comforting darkness of night is now filled with this new, alien menace. Nothing will ever feel familiar again. This wasn't a battle. It was pest control. The heat ray wasn't really a weapon so much as a force of nature, like a lightning strike or a flood. It was something you just had to endure, not something you could fight. So how does humanity even begin to deal with that? How do you fight an enemy whose power is so absolute? What does it even mean to be human when you're suddenly not at the top of the food chain anymore?